As an energy sensitive empath, you are likely longing to feel loved, wanted, accepted exactly as you are. You want to feel fulfilled and satisfied and connected to your heart, right? And of course, this is your purpose. You're here to bring your gifts and your superpowers, which is actually feeling compassion, being able to feel others, being able to feel your own feelings, and then help others to actually express that themselves. Often, with empath, we are usually here to help and to serve others. But first, we need to heal ourselves, right? If you're not feeling connected to others, you might have a fear of judgment, or you might fear doing things wrong or not good enough for others. You maybe are a perfectionist because of that. And always there is this doubt, this second guessing, this not feeling sure in yourself. And you would like to have confirmation and from others, you like to feel certain. All of that I experienced for decades, and I used to really be adamant and dedicated to come out of that imprisonment, where I always felt going around in circles, and I wanted love from other people. I wanted to feel accepted as I was. I wanted to be understood and just simply loved, And I had to learn how to really find that within myself anymore, because you probably know you will not find it on the outside. You might have tried affirmations or mindset work, but even if you work with the mind is almost like your other self, and it's still not your heart, isn't it? So if you don't feel it in your heart, your true self, then doing something with the mind is not really getting you there, because it is only in the mind. It needs to be in the whole body, in the heart. And therefore, lots of things you've tried to help yourself, in forms of modalities, might have not worked because you are a feeling person. You really need to experience the energy in yourself. Maybe now you're feeling tension. Maybe there's some fears of judgment, fears of not being good enough, fears of failure, fears of being wrong. And these fears will show up in all areas of life. And wherever you would love to go forward, maybe in your career, maybe you want to become self-employed, maybe you want to start a business, maybe you want to improve your relationships. And as long as you are holding back there, or better, you are held back by false beliefs, you cannot be yourself. So for instance, if you are believing you are not good enough, or you're wrong, or you need more perfectionism, you need to be better at something, and without that you cannot move forward, then that belief, I need to be better, I cannot do it, I'm not good enough, I'm doing it wrong, it's not working out what I'm doing, I always fail. Those beliefs are the blockers. So in truth, you are already fully developed. You don't need to develop yourself. You are your true self. That's already there, present in your heart. That's always present in your heart. And then you have your ego mind and your mind that is telling you different stories. So it's very important to know where you are living from. There's two selves here, right? And if you want to feel connected to yourself, you can only gain that by living from your true self, instead of the mind and the ego mind that are telling you all the things that are wrong with you, that you need to change, that you need to do this and this first before you become self-employed or start a business. So the mind will always tell you that you are not there yet, and you need to get something from the outside, get another certification or whatever, and then you can do it. So basically, the mind is never allowing you to do something right now because it keeps on telling you you're not ready, you're not good enough. See, this is a massive trap. So you need to become aware of, where am I living from? Where am I making this decision from now? For instance, if you want to you want to offer maybe a service, you have an idea that you can help people in a certain way, and maybe you've already experienced that you can help people in a certain way, but your mind is telling you, no, you haven't done the certificate. How can you offer that without the certificate? Or you're not good enough. You haven't had enough experience, or you can't do that. So the mind is usually stronger when we are sort of at the beginning of our journey back home to our true selves. We are used to actually listen to the mind because we are trained to listen to the mind. That's been our education. Nobody said, listen to your intuition, listen to your heart. What does your body tell you? How does it feel when you do that? Does it feel good to you? Does it feel uplifting? No, nobody said that, right? But these are the questions that you need to ask yourself before you decide on something. So if your heart jumps, if your heart is excited about a step you want to take, if you feel uplifted and joyous, expansive, that's the right move. But immediately, usually, the mind squashes that and it says, no, you can't do that yet, you're not ready, no, you have to do this first, blah, blah, blah. And it's so convincing, and you can't hear that you are being stopped in your tracks. This is exactly what happened with my last client, because she has an amazing intuitive gift. She can actually hear and see things around the aura in people, and she has this intuition. She knows when people need what, they have a certain ailment, because she's a nurse and she's helping people in that way already, but mostly all the symptoms in the body are actually caused by some emotional, unresolved, old problems, right? And she has been helping people to overcome them. And they were in tears when they started talking to her, and at the end, they are so relieved, they are in peace again, and they're smiling and feel so good. And she kept telling me that she needs to do a certain certification in order to offer that. And I said to her, but you're not a psychological, I don't know what she wanted to do, something like that, and to do with psychology. You are an intuitive person. You are guiding people intuitively, not by following some psychological rules and reading the books and then applying what's in the books. And this is the same with me, She was actually telling me that she had tried so much before we were working together, and she had psychotherapy. And even though the person was doing deep psychology and a similar work that we did together, but he was guiding her from the book text, from what he had learned. And she said that didn't work for me. I didn't do anything because she didn't feel what he was doing there. And so the difference there is, what I'm doing is, for the empath, because the empath are my ideal clients, I am feeling this myself because I've gone through that where you are, and I can see where you are holding yourself back and how you're holding yourself back. When, these scenarios, when you believe your mind and you are so convinced that that's true, what the mind is telling you, but I can see the pattern the mind is delivering. So I can show you, I can open your eyes when you are actually being manipulated by the mind. And immediately when you get told that, which is always the case with my clients, oh yeah, of course, they get it straight away. But they couldn't see it beforehand because it's so familiar. Also, it's really hard to guide yourself out of the assumptions and the false beliefs and the perceptions that you were carrying all your life because of some scenario in your childhood. And you're not aware of it. You just haven't seen it. And this is the hard thing to do yourself, you know. So having a guide, having someone who can see the patterns, who's gone through it herself, who's guided clients to this, through this journey back home to themselves. When you have someone like that, you can actually change within 3 months. And this is what I've done now with clients. I've offered a 3-month journey, you know, from being stuck. I mean, my last client, for instance, she said to me, when we started, she has this constant tension in her chest area and her stomach. And it is a fear. She knows it's a fear, but she could not access it. She didn't know what it was, but she could feel it, being an empath, you know. She was gaining weight. She was eating all the wrong things, you know, far too many sweets, trying to fill a hole in herself that she didn't know what that was about. And other people could make her doubt herself. They were always right in her point of view, and she was wrong. She actually fully believed that she's always wrong and other people are always right, and she hasn't got her own self-worth that way. So she was doubting herself big time. And without trusting yourself, how can you trust others, and how can you actually start a business, for instance? How can you step up and feel confident in yourself when you're doubting yourself? And without confidence, you cannot fully step into your full power, right? And she had no drive and to actually get going, do anything for herself. She could do the things at work when she had to do certain things. She enjoyed it. But anything for herself, she wouldn't get going. She would just feel zero motivation. And because there was a belief, oh, what's the point? Whatever I do is not going to succeed. You know, it's not going to blossom. That was her belief. That was her underlying assumption. And when you have that in your subconscious mind, which is actually the body, then you cannot get going. That is stronger. So anything that's hidden in the unconscious mind, in the body, that you haven't become aware of, that you haven't been able to see truly and fully, you're not able to change it. And I mean, you might know that the unconscious mind is more powerful because it can act in the unconscious realm. It can act without you noticing it. But the minute you are becoming conscious, it changes. It's like in the dark, you know, say you have a dark room and you can't see what's in that room. And there could be things there like very low noises, for instance, that the ears can't hear, but the body can pick it up. And they might be scary noises, yeah? And you go in there and you feel uncomfortable. You don't know why. So my client could feel a tension in her body. She didn't know why. And this is similar. So if you shine your conscious light onto that, if you turn on the switch, the light switch in the room, you can see that there is a like you say, a CD player, and it's playing, and you can see that there is some noises coming out of that player. And if you turn up a little bit, you can hear these are very uncomfortable noises. So it's a similar thing. As soon as your light and your consciousness is aware of the belief that you've been carrying, that is completely untrue. You know, of course you are not wrong, or you're not dumb, or you're not, like she used to think, she's dumb, she's stupid, and the others are always right. They know it all better, and she knows nothing, you know. As soon as you become really aware of that, you realize, no, of course I'm not stupid. You know, I'm just doing things differently, maybe. Or, you know, I just look at things differently. Everybody's individual, and everybody is loved as they are. And you need to be able to love yourself as you are, nobody else. Nobody else. When you love yourself as you are, you've got your power back, you've got your confidence back, and you will step into being your true self. And from that place, you can achieve whatever you desire. When my client came to me with all these obstacles and those the fears and the weight gain and the lack of motivation and drive, and other people making her feel wrong and stupid and doubting herself, that if she doesn't do anything about it, she will go around in circles and carry on experiencing the same things, yeah? So she said yes when I invited her to work with me for 3 months, and not just here and there, you know, because beforehand we had a few sessions before, but there could be months and months in between the sessions. That's not how you move forward. You decide on a 3 months journey. You become dedicated to that you will change. You go from A to B, and then you write out, what do you want? And she really wanted to feel connected to herself. You know, she wanted to feel good about herself and stop all that doubting. She wanted to be free of the fears. And of course, she wanted to lose weight as well, so she can mingle with people, because she actually started to be very isolated and just stay at home and not go anywhere. So she knew where she wanted to go, she knew where she was. And then we went on the journey, and in every session, we were looking at what is present today, what's happened, what maybe caused her emotional pain or upset in some way or fear. And then we would look at that. So I would guide her back to the actual real reason why she is believing a certain false belief, or why she's fearing something, or feels in pain, or feels a certain hurt when people say something, do something. So this is important, you know, this is really the actual journey to take if you want to uncreate something false, unloving, something that's not in harmony and not coming from peace. So it needs to be experienced by you. You need to feel it, you need to be present with it, and you need to shine your love and your light onto that. And then it reintegrates. So when you are uncovering the belief that caused your pain, and then you're uncovering the scenario that was happening where you created that belief, and then when you are actually meeting your inner child, usually it is an inner child, and giving her what she needed, understanding, love, maybe a hug, maybe she just wanted to feel loved. When you give her all that, the situation is then resolved. It's not stuck in the past anymore, you see? So you come from the now moment, you meet the past, and you are embracing the past, and you're taking that hurt inner child that now has been loved by you into your heart, and then she reintegrates that old belief that said, oh, I'm dumb, I'm stupid, I'm wrong. And she can see that that was never the case. It's just the other people, they wanted to feel superior, or whatever the case was. She will see the truth. She will see that she was never wrong or dumb or stupid. And that shifts everything. So in my experience as an empath, and if you're an empath as well, and if you find this really interesting and you want to step onto your own self-empowerment and self-love journey, just leave me a comment or book your first free discovery call. It's always best if we just talk, you know, if we just get together, we will see if we fit, if we like each other, if we're on the same wavelength. And I will show you how I help you. We uncover where you are, where you want to go, and then you can go from there. There's no obligation. This is a first step for you to go further and stop going around this healing hamster wheel, and to actually get out of that, take back your power, step onto a new timeline where you can create the life that you want. So all that is done with love, truth, and presence. These are the 3 tools I use, and my own intuitive guidance that comes to me when I guide you. I just know what you need. I can feel with you where you are. And my client said, for instance, it actually really feels like I am with her. I'm almost experiencing this with her. And I know how to get out of it. She doesn't. And it's a bit like while she's on the inner plane, she has got me holding her hand and guiding her back to her truth, back to her heart, back to her true empowered self. And this is what happens every time. So in the sessions, every week we meet up for 90 minutes and I will guide you back home from this erroneous thought yet that you might have been holding on to. And the more of those false beliefs you can reintegrate and resolve, the freer you feel, the more confident you become. You will let go of fears, or, for instance, fearing judgment, and you learn again. Not even learn, you remember to love yourself, because your self-love is already there. It's at the moment, it's just overlaid with false beliefs and unresolved emotions. With basically the ego mind is overshadowing your true self, because it's been given the power, right, through education, through your upbringing, through society, schooling, and so on. Everybody believes their egos more than their own true self in general. And I know you want to become free of that. You want to empower yourself, you want to love yourself, you want to feel confident, you want to trust yourself and go into the world and bring your gifts. So book your free call. I leave everything down here in the video now. And also, if you want to find out more about my sacred path back to inner peace, there's a video here that you can, or here you can look at next. And I'm really looking forward to meeting you. Don't delay your healing journey anymore, because we are in this time now where we need to choose our true self. No more living from fear, stepping onto the new path of living life from love and peace and joy. So don't forget, love yourself no matter what. Until next time, much love.